4:17 a.m., February 6, 2023. A magnitude 7.7 earthquake strikes the Pazarcık district of Kahramanmaras. Turkey was faced with the disaster of the century. Not one, two, or even three, but 11 major cities in southern Turkey were in shock. Many survivors lay buried under the rubble, but the horror isn't over. Just 9 hours after the initial tremor, another powerful magnitude 7.6 earthquake rocked the western district of Elbistan, Kahramanmaras. Destroying already damaged buildings and further complicating the dire situation on the ground. In a total of 105 seconds, the lives of 14 million people are changed forever. Families were fractured, homes became graves, and dreams were shattered. Children became orphans, and couples lost their loved ones. The only thing left are memories of a life that once was, for those who survived. When the dust settled, it was clear that Turkey was faced with an unprecedented crisis. More than 53,000 people died and more than 107 were injured. Almost 40,000 buildings had collapsed, while more than 200,000 were severely damaged.
Ülkemizin diğer tüm şehirlerindeki kamu imkanlarını deprem bölgesi için harekete geçirdik. Afet bölgesi ve olağanüstü hal ilanı kararı aldı.
The state mobilized all of its institutions. President Erdogan sent his top officials to the disaster zone. Search and rescue teams were quickly dispatched. The people of Turkey unified, as they have always done in the past, to deal with natural disasters. Government officials and volunteers quickly arrived to help. They did not think about the passing hours, the cold weather, or the danger in the rubble. The only thing they thought about was how to save more lives. One-and-a-half-year-old Sela, 6-month-old Yiğit, İnci, Asya, Masal, Aleyna Ölmez, who was pulled from the ruins 11 days after the earthquake, were stories of hope and survival.
Allah'ın yardımı üzerimize olsun, değil mi?
Evet.
Ah yavrum benim. İnşallah en yakın zamanda bir arada oluruz.
But the losses were staggering. This was an unprecedented disaster. And it would require an equally unprecedented response. Initially, a financial aid package of 100 billion Turkish liras was allocated for the region. Temporary shelter areas were immediately established for the victims. Nearly 650,000 tents were set up across 350 tent cities. Those tents became a home for 2.5 million people. Almost 420 container cities were established in earthquake-resistant areas. More than 690,000 people settled in container houses. Within 48 hours, roads closed by the earthquake were reopened. Field hospitals, mobile kitchens, and mobile bakeries were set up. Bayraktar and Sancaktar, owned by the Ministry of National Defense, started to serve hospital ships in Iskenderun. But the priority was to rebuild homes for the quake victims. During the first moments of the disaster, President Erdogan assured that no victim would be abandoned. Turkey rapidly started to execute rebuilding plans. 680,000 houses and village houses alongside 170,000 commercial areas were surveyed.
Dünyada Türkiye'den başka böylesine büyük alanda, böylesine şiddetli yıkıma yol açmış bir felaket karşısında bu kadar kısa sürede toparlanıp yeniden inşa aşamasına gelecek başka ülke yoktur.
2.6 trillion Turkish liras from the 2023-2024 budget was spent towards recovery efforts in the earthquake zone. This rapid rebuilding process is now nearly complete. More than 200,000 homes were handed over to quake victims. A total of 584 billion Turkish liras has been allocated from the 2025 budget. By the end of the year, the remaining 452,000 homes are expected to be completed. Lives that were shattered just 2 years ago have now been restored to normal as victims are now homeowners who will enjoy this winter from the warmth of their living rooms.
Yıkımın büyüklüğü karşısında asla yılgınlığa kapılmadan asrın inşasını başlattık. O günden bugüne dek bir an olsun elimizi deprem bölgesinden çekmedik.
To encourage survivors to stay in their hometowns and revive the cultural and historical richness of the region, the Turkish government adopted a financial incentive campaign. Grants and interest-free loans were given to those who wanted to rebuild their own houses and workplaces. 2 years on, the region's industry, which was in tatters, has recovered thanks to government support. All earthquake-stricken towns are quickly returning to their former glory. Education was another field Turkey had to deal with. Everything has been provided to those children who were relocated and those who continue with their education in quake-stricken regions. And today, temporary classrooms are being replaced by fully equipped schools that have been rebuilt. Health services in the quake regions were not neglected. The foundations of the Defne, Antakya, and Iskenderun and state hospitals were laid in Hatay. The construction of the Defne State Hospital was completed in 3 months. More than 250 physicians and more than 1,000 healthcare workers began to serve. In Antakya State Hospital, Iskenderun State Hospital, Hatay Training and Research Hospital, Kahramanmaras State Hospital, and Gaziantep Nurdağ Emergency Hospital were rapidly established to service the quake-hit areas.
Bugün depremzedelerimizin barınma başta olmak üzere temel ihtiyaçlarını giderdiğimiz umut dolu bir tabloyla karşı karşıyayız.
By the end of 2025, Turkey's ambitious rebuilding plans will be successfully completed. Despite this bleak picture, the nation is decisive in its will to overcome the tragedy. Its wounds continue to heal. The nation is unified. The twin earthquakes are the greatest challenge the Republic of Turkey has faced in modern history. How it rebuilds and recovers will be Turkey's greatest success story.